Hello and welcome. My name is Paul Quinton, and I'm coming to you today from Cobham in Surrey in the UK. So I'm going to talk today a bit about the soul agenda. I have some wonderful channeled messages. I did have a set procedure, but Spirit have come in this morning and they want me to read some different stuff. I've also been told we're going to do a little live healing. So I want you just to set the intention to receive. This healing will come on the back end of a message, which has been channeled, and I'll briefly tell you a bit about myself in a second. And then what we'll do is we'll go into a few more messages. Priscilla is kindly going to send some. If you've got any questions, I'll leave a little bit of time for that as well, and then we can go from there. So this is really about establishing where we are as a frequency on this planet at this time, and how we navigate through this, shall we say, chaos period into the new golden age or the Earth Renaissance, as a lot of the spiritual consciousnesses are now terming it. So anyway, so I'm Paul Quinton. I grew up in a psychic family. My evening as a child, we used to do once a week, we would do seances and sittings, where we would bring in stuck souls from the astral plane and different dimensions, having an array of issues. Obviously, some have been murdered, some have died, some have been lost in freak accidents. Some are very lonely or depressed, because we find a lot of souls when they leave the planet or leave physicality, they can become a little lost. So there's many moving around us all the time. So that's how I sort of grew up and came into this sort of spiritual realm. So it's very much acknowledging the unseen world. Obviously, it brought up a lot of fear for me at the beginning when I was a kid, but it allowed me to go deeper into this work, and work with some of the shadow energies as I have, and also to channel their messages, because obviously, and you'll hear from when I speak today, we want to bring consciousness together. And at the moment, obviously, there's a great divide on the planet. But the main thing for us to understand is that, the light and dark is the same energy. And what's happened now since coronavirus, what used to be on two ends of the spectrum has now come very close. And in the last few months, it's even closer. So the agenda of, say, the shadow energy is serving the light and vice versa, because actually now the shadow energy on the planet is actually trying to wake us up to release it. And this is why you can always or never judge the two ends of the spectrum, because and don't get me wrong, a lot of people judge God, as we all know. We all have that programming from thousands of lifetimes. So really it's about union now as we're coming back into a collective. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the soul and why we're here, and I'll get into the messages in a minute. So basically I've been channeling on and off, well, full time now for the last few years. I've got a few books coming out. I'm just sitting down with a publisher at the moment with my literary agent. I've got a patented new modality called the alignment modality. I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end. If you want to come on my website, check it out on the courses. And basically that will, I'll tell you about it, like I said, at the end. But this is a healing modality that has been given to us by Spirit, and it's apt for now as we go through this frequency shift. And what it's doing is it's simplifying everything. It's taking all the mumbo jumbo that's out there in the New Age movement at the moment, because there's still a lot of misinformation out there, even in our field. And it wants to simplify the message, and it's making it, as Spirit said, you need to design it in a way where it's digestible for the man on the street, meaning mainstream people coming in, because unfortunately, as we know, most of us are getting the answers through the medical profession. Now, don't get me wrong, modern medicine serves its purpose, otherwise it wouldn't be here. However, it's limited in its view because it only looks at the physical side of things. And this is a huge amount of frustration and insecurity and anxiety that this causes in people. And I've been doing one-on-ones with my clients for over 20 years now. And so I'm well documented on what happens, what they're told by the medical profession, not really getting real answers. And the main thing is it creates a lot of fear. And a lot of people don't want to go on pharmaceutical drugs anymore. They want a new way of working with their body and understanding why things are happening. So I want to say very clearly that there's nothing wrong with the physical body. It's the belief systems and our emotional energy that lets the physical body. So whenever you get a physical illness, even pain anywhere in your body, that's the body communicating to something that has not been acknowledged. Now, all you have to do if you get a pain, so for example, your knee starts throbbing, to breathe through that knee and just say, "Hello, knee. Why are you here? What's happening today? What are you trying to tell me?" And you can word it however you like. But that acknowledgement defines its state, it defines the frequency. Now, the more you work on yourself and you listen to your intuition, develop yourself psychically, you're going to have, um, you're going to get answers straight back. But often we will come through feeling, or something will just pop in your head. And I find the hardest thing is trusting, and trusting the soul energy, because we're not taught to trust. We're told to deny our emotions, and our creativity gets shut down a lot in a lot of societies on Earth, and especially through the schooling system. And you constantly hear about the art department having no fee, having no money, or being shut down in different schools. I've heard that for years. So there's always that attack on the creative side. And the irony is that we love the creative side, and it's blasted all over our TV screens, and we pay a lot of money to buy it as well. So, but as a frequency, um, if you allow yourself to be balanced with the male and female energy, um, then obviously this illusion of living in the shadow, to remember who we really are, would not be tangible. So, and what's happening now is that we are now moving back into a collective. So if you want to umbrella the soul agenda, very simple. We are here on earth now to transform our emotional bodies and heal our ancestral line. When we do that, we are freeing up all of the entanglements that are stuck in third density reality. Because a lot of beings will not come here because they don't want to get caught up in the karma. I'll explain karma in a minute, but they don't want to get caught up in the energy of earth, because if they have an issue with someone, until that's resolved, they have to keep reincarnating to let go. So, there's many ways of looking at that, and there's many discussions that could be had around that. But the point is that you will keep incarnating until you resolve your patterns with people. So karma, and most people think karma, again, this is primordial concept of, I do something good's going to happen. I do something bad's going to happen. No, that's not the case. What the case is that it's called magnetics. So this is a magnetic frequency that we live in. So we draw everything to us. So if our belief systems we draw to us, and whatever our cellular information is putting out is what we will draw to us as well. So it's magnetic. So what will happen is you'll create trauma or drama, and you'll think, well, God, this always happens. For example, I always manifest the same girlfriend, boyfriend. I always manifest the same relationships. The men are always this way, blah, blah, blah. So instead of going into the story of victim or blame, you say, well, why am I manifesting the same person? Be inquisitive, because inquisitiveness is what actually breaks the frequency. Okay, so the soul will create the same pattern until you learn to let it go, for whatever reason that is. So, so it's not karma, and it's not. So if you have something bad happen, or for example, you always lose your money, or you're always having accidents, that is not karma. That is magnetic energy trying to get your attention to break the belief system that created the issue in the first place. Now, you've got a belief system created from an emotion. So when something happens, we create a story about it. And then we can start to judge the person, we can start to judge ourselves, we create belief systems, and then if we're so hardened and we forget to feel our energy, that energy manifests very strong. So you become very rigid, very dysfunctional. And then you would see that same personal situation again, and you'd have extreme prejudice. And that this is what the shadow energy can do. If it's not given acknowledged, it will fester and grow and grow and grow. And this is why, obviously we'll have so many hate groups and racism on the planet. This is all seeded in misunderstanding why something has happened in the first place. So inquisitiveness, and this is what Einstein talked about, and he said, logical thinking get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. And he said, I would never have got my answers, or never worked out anything if I hadn't have asked the question, why is that star shining? And was inquisitive. So if human beings, and when we can get, instead of something happens to us and sort of blaming or going, oh, terrible thing has just happened again, if you actually put your hand up and say, why did that happen? Energetically, you are breaking the story, the cycle. Now, energy is really important. It's more important than physicality, because energy drives physicality. So if you can work up the energy level, then what will happen, and especially now, is the soul will start to come in and give you markers. So what your job is to do in the morning is to wake up and say, whatever I need to learn, show me. And all you have to do is be open to receive. And you'll get an odd phone call. You'll read something. You'll hear something on the television. Someone will ring you up and they'll just have a general conversation, and your answer will be in that conversation. Maybe have nothing to do with what you're talking about, and it will throw things at you like that. And I've had many messages come through the television. It's been, and it's quite amusing. You're watching something and then you go, oh my God, they're talking to me. That's what I asked for. And it's in the sentence of a movie or something, So yeah, it's amazing. So I'm just reading some of these questions. Yeah, okay, good. Man on the stream. So I'm just making sure there wasn't any questions there. Okay, so what we want to do is the hardest thing at the moment is de-accelerating the masculine energy. Now, again, we don't want to get into a divide of consciousness, because what's happening now is there's certain agendas on the planet, light and shadow. Some are separating us and some are trying to unify us. And the soul agenda is to come back into the collective. Now, the collective consciousness is multi-dimensional aspects of your same frequency. So when we talk about going back into the collective, we are moving back into, we're moving into a vibration of what we call 4D. Physically, what's happening is the atoms are starting to spin faster. So the vibration's changing. So if you've got a heavy set conditioning, belief systems, emotional body, it's very hard to move into the new frequency. That's why it's very important to heal the emotional body so you can move with the new earth energy. Okay, physically the atoms are changing, the molecule structure is changing. Obviously time doesn't exist here anymore. That left our vibration about 4 or 5 years ago. Saturn released time. That was the planet that held time, held restriction here. So what's happening as well is the planet, and I think the last time I was told we move a couple of 100,000 kilometers a year, something like that, the Earth. So what we're moving up into the right hand quadrant of our galaxy, where a lot of these I don't say higher vibration, but lighter vibrational energy or planets are existing for fourth density being so that's the physical side of it. But in order for us to move with the planet, because don't forget, it's the planet that's evolving. We live on the planet, so if we are to stay on the planet, we must evolve. And this is where people get misunderstand sometimes. It becomes very about my ascension. No, it's the planet's ascension, and you're a guest on this planet. And yes, we are made up of the the structure of the planet, but at the end of the day, the planet is evolving, and this is why we're having so many earthquakes and tidal waves and stuff. This is Earth releasing her emotional body. We have Iceland with the volcanic eruptions. This is a lot of the anger and fear and frustration, because the Earth Mother is evolving too. She's just like us, and I've got a message from Gaia. which I wasn't going to read today, but that came through, so I'm going to read that in a minute. So it's brilliant. Um, so for us to establish the right frequency, so our cells and the atom in our body and the water that makes up our body can hold more light, we have to come into alignment. And this is why my book's actually called Alignment, and that's a frequency in itself. My literary agent held the book, and she had a transformation just holding the book. And Spirit said it's the frequency in the book as well as reading it. And the modality as well is about bringing your body into alignment with the soul. So this is not about ascending anywhere. This is not about jumping into fifth dimension and all the rest of it. This is about becoming human. We're too focused on getting out of ourselves. But Spirit has said no. They've said very, very clearly, we're already spiritual beings. We don't need to become spiritual. We're already spiritual. We're already multidimensional. So we're already ascended. So if you exist in all densities, which is 12 densities plus a 13th, which is the womb of creation, which is divine feminine, and everything comes from there. And if we can access all 12 densities, aren't we already ascended? And this is the question. Where are you trying to ascend to? You're already ascended. You're just in a different time zone, a different frequency, having a different experience. But all of your soul fragments or soul connection or energy is all going into the spirit form of who we are as an individual spirit. And basically it's like the mothership, everything's going up into the mothership. Okay, this is happening, and there's that constant learning. And we are multidimensional beings. So what Spirit is saying to us is we want you to become human, and the only way you can become human is to drop the soul body back into the body. Okay. I'll come back into how can we simply let go? Well, I'll just simplify it now. I mean, obviously there's a structure to that, and I don't have enough time to go into all that now because obviously the alignment modality and teaches us that. It gives us the esoteric knowledge, gives us the foundation. We have activations there which actually simplify the process, because what it does is it opens the multidimensional portals within our chakra system, within our body. And this allows multidimensional frequencies to start merging with us. In other words, what we do is we access our past lives, what you call past lives, but really they're happening at once because there's no such thing as linear time. And that sort of starts to simplify, because what happens is it's not a mental process of simplifying. What it is it's a letting go, so the simplicity comes back, because we do live very simple as energetic beings. It's just the human conditioning that's created this confusion and all this left brain stimulus. We need all this information and rules and procedures, and it's actually become crippling for the soul energy, because the soul can't access through that mental energy. So, and I want to answer that question, simply let it go. So what you could do, for example, and this is how I take clients through, and I've done many healing modalities over the years, and I've let them all go, and I just use what Spirit have taught me now, and it's amazing, and it's so much faster. Just the dynamic of it, the frequency. Basically, what you do now, any emotion that comes up, whether it's fear that day or anxiety or despair, or confusion, whatever it is, in that moment, instead of letting it cripple you and take over your day, and we've all had those days, we can feel depressed or anxious all day, and it just ruins our day. And how do I get out of it? And your mind keeps projecting, oh, it's this, and you cause yourselves more stress. So what you do in that moment is say, for example, with anxiety, say mentally, hello, anxiety, how are you? You can ask, why are you here? Now, you can listen to your intuition, feel. It may say, in your image, in your mind, might pop up your 8-year-old, and you go, okay, and you go into your imagination, say, hello, 8-year-old, how are you? Why are you anxious? And that'll tell you. And what will happen is you'll have a memory of something you've forgotten, and you go, oh, that's right, when I went to school, and this issue happened when I was doing my science experiment or whatever it was. And then you just talk to that part of yourself and say, okay, that's fine. And just get it to express itself. Just say, talk to it. It's like a counselor. Don't go and try and fix the person or fix the 8-year-old. Just listen. Now, that is a sort of, if you're in that space, you can do that. Sometimes you won't always get something pop up in your head. I just wanted to add that. Again, coming back to the simplicity. So you feel the feeling, you go, hello, anxiety, how are you? And in your imagination, and don't worry if you can't visualize, just imagine what you're visualizing, give it a color or a shape, an archetype of some sort. That now represents the anxiety. And you close your eyes and you step back from it in your imagination, see it at a distance. And all you need to do is thank it and send it love. We send it love because you can only transform with the frequency of love. You can't transform with fear or anger or getting into the story. And why are we grateful? Grateful because if you didn't feel it, you couldn't resolve it. So you're grateful because the feelings come up and it's saying, hello, anxiety saying, hello, I'm ready to leave you. I want out of your body. And this is where people get confused. They feel these feelings and it overwhelms them. The feel of the enemy. It's not the enemy. It's actually there in loving service to you because it's trying to get your attention to release it. So what you do for just for a couple of minutes, close your eyes, really slow the breath down. It's all about breathing at the end of the day. So just slow the breath down. The more present you are, more relaxed you are, what happens then is you start to detach. That frenetic third density human energy starts to relax. Now, when you're relaxed, the soul energy can come in much faster. Divine current, consciousness, which keeps our heart beating, will come in and it will transform the feeling. And the feeling is conscious as well. So it knows what to do. It just needs your acknowledgement. It needs your love. It needs your understanding. And as soon as you give it that intention, what could last all day can go in 5-10 minutes. Because don't forget, the energy the cycle we're in now is all about release. So if anything comes up, it's just come up for a release. It's not defining who I am. I'm not an anxious person. And we need to get out of this labeling. Don't label yourself as anything. All every human being is, regardless of whatever's going on with them, disease, dysfunction, depression, anxiety, it's all coming from the clogged emotional body. So all you do is say, I'm just emotionally clogged. You don't say, I've got liver disease. You say, I'm emotionally clogged. So and then that changes the vibration because as soon as you label yourself to that, whatever belief systems are around that, you're going to start to take on. So there might be, right, liver disease and the medical profession. So, well, if you get liver disease at this age, you've got 2 months, you've got 3 months, 6 months. You're already believing that. So you're creating it. The shadow energy, all it's ever done has placed the intention of what it wanted to do, hasn't created it. All it needs to do is, yes, you'll get cancer at 6 months, for example. You'll start to believe it, and your manifestational power or co-creative energy creates that. So you have to be very careful of what we believe, and especially in the mainstream, and also about labeling, because there is energy attached to these labels, and this is all very unconscious. It's very, very unconscious. It's the same as when they put on cigarette packets. Those warning signs are not there to assist you. They're there to create it in you. And this is also, no, I don't want to I know I'm getting a little bit in the negative side here, but I want you to understand that the shadow energy on the planet at the moment, like I said, is trying to release it and it's trying to make you conscious. However, there are certain agendas on the planet, which we all know, that would, that are sort of against humanity. They may be feeding certain agendas, etc., etc. But the point is, it's like the cross. Now, the cross puts the fear, doubt, and despair into the human being because the cross actually represents conflict. But if you put a cross with a circle around it, it means balance of the male and female energy. So if you notice that a lot of religion, it took the feminine away. It took the number 13 away, which is the feminine number. It's taken the circle away. And this again is all part of the experience. It's all part of us to lose ourselves, to remember. So again, it's not about divide, and that's not my agenda here at all to create this issue, because there's a wonderful message as well that I read about, channeled about the church and how we are meant to work with that energy now, and understand that its purpose was there as a middleman to keep us believing, but also didn't falsified some truths. So what's now happening is the conscious, and I've been speaking to a few people, and I know that the Vatican's starting to change now. There's a lot of people that will speak about the Vatican's actually a portal system. I believe it is as well. And I believe they have been very much connected into the esoteric. But what is happening is that the frequency of the church is starting to change. Remember, we talked about the light and dark. So what's happening now, and I think this new Pope has been very instrumental in it, is starting to seed the truth. Now, it's going to be fantastic how that comes out. We were talking the other day, and we said you can't go against the church because that's going to create more divide. And guess what the church does? It has billions of people connected into it. So it's a great voice for light once the energy starts to move more into the light energy, and that's going to be happening more in 2023. Thank you for your for comments. Thank you. We expect an agenda of the current planet time to come to a head within. Yes, correct, Stephen. Yes, that's exactly. The Aquarian age is meant to officially kick off beginning of 2023. So another year and 3 months, 15 months. So yeah, so that's going to be fantastic. And obviously since the 60s, which was the eve of it, shall we say, the opening, you know, now we're starting to come in. If you think from the 60s, everything that's happened from the 60s, look at the way we've evolved, the way fashion, music, politics, the feminine energy coming into power. You know, everything is starting to shift, getting us ready for this moment. So it is very exciting times. Now, another thing is that we have to get out this scarcity. You know, and we had the fuel crisis in the UK the last few weeks, and that is just there to stimulate the base chakra. It's to stimulate fear, which was what many of the agendas are. If you keep people in the base chakra, you keep them in the masculine energy in survival mode, and this is where human beings are. And if you talk to most people, just the man on the street, they are just surviving. There's just enough money to maybe have one holiday a year, or just, you know, and it's most of humanity is stuck at that level. Now, one of us says, well, that's a joke because I'm infinitely abundant. How can you have scarcity on a planet? It's absolutely impossible. But it's an agenda that creates that experience, you see. So that agenda is starting to break up. And that's why the soul agenda is very important, because the soul agenda is to bring you back into full empowerment while in a physical body. It's so you can access all of your multidimensional energies at the same times. Okay, so how does your alarm system integrate? Or is it purely standalone? Very good question. Yes. So the alignment modality can be attached onto any other work you're doing, but it can stand alone on its own. Very much standalone on its own. And that's how I present it. So it's actually 3 modules. 4th module is practitioner level, and then it's insured now in 45 countries. So you actually get cheaper insurance through the insurance companies, and it's also patented as well now. So it's all official through the UK government. And basically, it's different because it's come directly from spirit. It's simplified. When you come on the workshop, the energy that comes in, it's very fast, it's very dynamic, and it's very sharp, and it's, you know, I've done all the healing modalities, and this one tops it all. And it's also simplifying things, and it's getting people. So we don't even work with belief systems anymore. What we do is we work with feeling only, because if you change a belief system, that belief system can often come back, because the emotional energy, or charge as we call it, that created the belief system in the first place is not addressed. Now, if you're doing any healing, you have to access multidimensionality to clear the foundational imprint, because everything we've got in this life now, especially in this life, we are just trying to release all of our multidimensional lifetimes, or what we call past lifetimes, and the ancestral energy is behind us as well. And I've noticed in the last year the heaviness of ancestral energy trying to come through. And sometimes I just work with one person, you can see 100, 150 souls all shifting at the same time. And that's all that bloodline, because they are stuck around the earth plane as well. And they're trying to release themselves, you know. So if you're still karmically drawn to this, or not, again, karma, but if you're magnetically drawn to the patterns of this planet, and you can only really resolve them while you're in physicality. There's a little involvement between lives, or while you're in the non-physical. It has to be done here. It has to be done in the illusion. So the alignment modality is different because it's, like I said, it's dynamic. Um, it's again, it's the frequency of spirit. We couldn't have brought this body of work through up until now because human consciousness had to change. Um, it's got ancient numerology, advanced numerology, and it's not the mainstream stuff that's out there. This is actually healing modality in itself. It can tell you exactly why everything's happened in your life, so you can actually heal through the numbers. Um, Powerful temple activations. This is what we used to do back in the ancient days, in the ancient ways, when we used to live in the temple lifetimes. So what this does is they act like depth charges. They blow out the chakra points, and what it does is it opens you up to the depth of your knowledge behind the physical side. So what it does is it starts to flood you with all the ancient information that you've grown and learned over the lifetimes, and it also opens you up to obviously stellar consciousness. So it's going to improve your psychic ability, your intuition. We work a lot on the brain, the pineal, hypothalamus. We do all in module 2. We do all the clearing of all the frequency control that's been placed into us. We do a DNA cleanse, and basically the third one is about accessing multidimensional aspects of ourselves. Some body experience. We'll be working with a lot with polarity and energy. We teach a lot about oscillation, about getting everything to swing in the magnetics of oscillation in the universe. So we give a lot of esoteric knowledge as well. We work on the foundational patterns that human beings are trying to resolve, which is self-betrayal and inadequacy. And we also start to clear the lower 4 chakras, which is where humanity is blocked. Now, we work with a 9 chakra system, so the traditional 7, and the Earth star and the Soul star, so the one above and one below. And this is actually the anchor for the auric field. And these are the ones that get contaminated. So when traditionally the old system, we worked on 7s because human consciousness only worked within the 7 before. So again, now we're working into the nine densities or 9 realities of consciousness that human beings are living within. So I think it's again, it's different because, like I said, it's sharp, it's quick, it takes a lot of the misinformation that's out there at the moment. We don't work with the mind anymore. We actually surrender the mind. This is about divine feminine energy coming in. The workshops open up very spirit come in, and it's quite amazing. Now, whenever students come on the workshop, or clients as I like to call them, whoever comes on that particular workshop have all had past lives, multidimensional lives together, and they've come to resolve something as a group, and which is quite amazing. So each time we work on the modality, it's different things come through. So it's very dynamic and it's constantly growing. Things are being added. Like I said, you know, people on the group will have the same agenda as well, or the same issues to resolve personally. So it might be abandonment. That might be the energy that they've come to resolve. And then on top of that, they'll have their group energy that they need to resolve. Maybe they were a group of some sort of group or a family before, and haven't resolved their condemnation of each other, for example. So it's very dynamic, it's very in the moment, and it's very powerful, and it's very simple too, because the Spirit said to me that we have to have simplicity. Human beings do not need another full set of rules and procedures to achieve enlightenment, because we're already overwhelmed, we're already exhausted. So it's about simplifying. So it's very, very dynamic. And what happens is spirit, we're talking on the workshop, doing the things, but behind the scenes, people can feel all this stuff going on, like their cells are being cleansed. So it's what we're doing. It's different because we're creating space where spirit come in and do stuff we can't even see. And that's the beauty of it. And then I get wind of some of it, obviously, and then they start channeling and they say, right, you're not doing that. We're doing this right now. So it's very, it's exciting. It's exciting. So it's different like that, and like I said, I've probably done at least 6 or 7 different healing modalities, and I've never had this experience. as I have with this one. And I think it's something you need to feel. And to be honest, it really sells itself in the sense because people tune in, they watch the video explaining it, and they feel the frequency of the message, and they go, right, yeah, I need that. That's where I'm meant to be. And that's the beauty of it as well. People feel it's not so much I need to think if I need to do that. They just know, because the frequency hits the soul body and just goes, yep, that's my path now. That's what I need to do. Look, so I know time's running out. Great explanation. Really mixed in others aspects. Yeah, thank you, Fraser. Yeah, explain. Great, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Fraser. Okay, so I'm going to just read, because I'm running out of time. So I'm just to read some channeled messages off. Okay, so basically, just have some water. I channel a few times a week. I have a Facebook group, so I put lives on there, and I put it on Instagram. So my group on Facebook is Soul Integrity. So if you want to come over and join, please do. And the channel messages, I work with the Viridian consciousness. Part of my aspect of my consciousness. They've been involved in a lot of different things on this planet, and partly creation of water as well in the human body. So their program is actually coming in to change the molecule structure and the atom. So they're working very much with the mind complex, trying to get the meridian system of the body working. So what they're trying to do is create functional receptors in our cell body, so that we can start to draw in stellar consciousness or light back into the body. Because don't forget, we've been blocked from that for a long time, because what's happened through misinformation, our cells have divided. So when a cell is divided and polarity is not allowed to swing, information cannot ground into the cell. So what happens is, most of the time, and most of humanity, and if you go into most of humanity, there's fear at the base. And we're sold fear. Everything's fear, 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 fear. The news is fear, fear, fear. So of course, what that does is it creates unilateral polarized energy within the cell body. So they're coming in to fix all that, change all that. And they put their energy in through water and photonic waves that are coming in, and a lot of it's coming in from the sun as well. I'm just about to read off something from the sun beings, which is a great, and there's a little healing in there as well. So I'll get into it, because I know we're running out of time. Okay. Right, so let me read off the soul thing. I'm just going to move the soul path, because this talk is the soul agenda. So moving forward, soul path. So I'll read this one off first. Many of you are experiencing a paradox of consciousness, a to and fro analogy, if you like. You are all in a river of expression that can be likened to an undercurrent of water, where you seem to be still on the surface, but in the depths there is movement. And if you don't swim in the right direction, you can be pulled in all directions, leaving you feeling like you have just exited a washing machine. Sound about right? Now, to swim in the right direction, you just need to feel what's pulling you underneath. Which way is the tide moving? Do I swim in that direction, or do I panic and leave it to fate? And this analogy is presenting itself now on a global stage. And more human beings are starting to feel the undercurrent. The vibration is speeding up, and no one can deny this any longer. You are all starting to experience your shadow selves as they try to rise to the surface, bathing in the sunshine on the surface water. But many on the planet don't want to look beneath the water. They are scared of what is lurking on the ocean floor. Now, if you feed a shark, you can swim next to it. You have acknowledged its craving, its temperament. You have nourished the shark, and in return, it won't bite you. So your shadows are asking you to nourish them. And in return, you can feel safe around that which is denied. It won't bother you anymore. And as we have mentioned in previous channels, fear is looking for love. Its opposite buddy, which is love. Love and fear are the same consciousness at different ends of the spectrum. So fear wishes you to love it, to embrace it, to not deny it any longer. It no longer wishes to be part of your experience. And from the heart of fear, it implores you to release it so it can move on and be free. You are not your mind, not your belief systems, and you are certainly not physical beings at heart. It's time to embrace these fundamental truths and do yourselves a favor and let go of the illusion that you are less than, that scarcity exists, that there's something wrong with you, that you need someone to take care of you. The only person who can do that is you. However, you need to be in alignment with your soul. Otherwise, the fickle ego mind will continue to keep you in servitude of false belief. And the denied emotional volcanoes are just waiting to erupt. You just need to make the right decision this minute and watch the synchronicity of life unfold. So you want to just have a bit more water. So a lot of these messages, and since the corona started, that they're coming through different frequencies, but the message is very simple, and it's a lot of it is not so much the same, but there's different ways of looking at it. That working with the feminine, working with the soul body, clearing the emotional body. But most people go, well, how do I do that? It's too intense. I'm too overwhelmed. And this is what I'm saying. Just be in the moment, sit with the feeling, let it be there, acknowledge it. Know that feelings are not the enemy. They've got their own consciousness. Now, when I work with my clients, I will talk sometimes fear or anger in that person for 10 minutes. I'll have a conversation and they'll come in, are you okay? You're still there? Yes. Well, I'm talking to your emotions at the moment, getting a full picture or understanding where it's come from. And they'll always take me into multidimensional aspects of the person. And you'll go back thousands of years sometimes in linear perspective, and you'll see, okay, well, this started here, this and here. And when you do multidimensional healing, the energy that comes through the human body in the physical moment is insane, and a lot of people have very intense reactions, and it's not bad, but they feel it and they go, wow. I mean, it's like, but that's what we're opening up to now. We're opening up to that frequency of being able to bring through huge amounts of energy. But like I said, our bodies have to be clear to be able to hold that energy. We have to keep drinking lots of water too as well. Excuse me, because our bodies are not flushing the emotional energy through the system. So I'm going to read off the solar beings, and there's a wonderful little healing that we'll do right at the end. And this is something that you can take with you. It's very simple. You'll remember it very easily. So these are the solar beings. So obviously, I channel different kinds of consciousness. Sometimes I'll intention that someone else will come through. But I mainly work with the Viridians, which are, well, they actually 10th density beings, which they've told me they're an androgynous race, and they've been instrumental in Earth since the start. They are assisting here, like I said, with the mind complex and the meridian system, molecules, atoms. And I'm also working with the Algorians, which is from the star Algor, depicted as Medusa in the old days because it's the divine feminine, it's the raw feminine energy, and obviously they're bringing through the feminine message. But these solar beings are sort of, they take on different guises anyway. So greetings from a place of love. We find ourselves at an extraordinary time in Earth's history, one that will define mankind's evolutionary process. You have all decided at the soul level to participate in the grand experiment you call physicality. And what you don't know yet are the future plans for the human race, one that will echo through many dimensions and densities. And physicality is going to evolve beyond the current model playing out in your universe. And a universe will be created for this great playground of consciousness. So a new universe will be created for this playground of consciousness. What you all need to do now is look forward to the endless possibilities that lie ahead, infused with unconditional love. Mankind has the ability to access all 12 densities in the one moment and see these endless possibilities. And there are those on your planet that are trying similar techniques through technology. But advanced technology, in this case, only works when the consciousness of the individuals involved has reached non-attachment. And only then can you be in service to all, not the self. Many attempts to access the unknown have been made, and many failures have occurred. And this brings us to you as individual entities, coming back into a collective awareness. If you try to change yourself in any manner, be it physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, with technology, without communion with your souls, you are participating in the illusion of misinformation and conformity. And what you will find over the next 2 years is an undoing of such behaviors and procedures. Trying to fix anything now an illusion without soul communication. First will only prolong the dysfunction, and that means anything. Moreover, nothing has changed. You still have mass inequality, starvation, homeless people on the street, more disease, viruses, and illnesses than your medical profession tell you. So the so-called studies don't hold true, and they deny your truth through misinformation. And you are all tired of this cycle of control. We are a frequency known to your tribal elders, to your ancient civilizations, and we are making ourselves known to you again. We can take on many guises. However, we are very tall and skinny, with diamond-shaped faces, and we oscillate in color, mainly off blue, brown, and dark green. We also appear in dark shades of gold. We have diamond shapes in our chest plate that represents the union of the divine masculine and feminine, and it now comes to you. To balance that first in your own personalities, and then between each other as a race. You are scared to surrender to the feminine force because the feminine force is what your religions call the devil. The number 13 is the divine feminine, the 13th ray, womb of all creation. The 666 equals 9, which means your true reality of existence as humans work within 9 densities, which equals your whole makeup of experience and communication. We are expressing ourselves as a male force at this time to assist the male energy on your planet to surrender and align with the feminine or soul body of each individual. All you need to do in your meditations is say the word beta 3 times. Beta, beta, beta. And we will merge with your auric field and work with you as your soul feels fit. We also bring the gift of cellular alignment. Your cells are unilaterally polarized in the shadow energy, which is why fear dominates your planet, keeping control and servitude in power. We would like mankind to start thinking out of the box, out of the pain body, and start desiring change, truth, and honesty with oneself. Every time you heal aspects of yourself, you heal the human collective consciousness near Mother Earth. You feel joy, happiness, and love. That energy moves through all 9 densities, assisting all multidimensional aspects of your own consciousness. And this is the universal union, one that you will come to remember. We are here in loving service to you. Yes, beta, beta, beta. That's great. That's the one. Obviously, time is upon us, so I won't go into the healing. So what you can do is you can sit there, and I had people in the group doing it, and you'll feel what most people said is they felt this energy sort of coming from behind them and sort of encapsulating the auric field. And a lot of people feeling it around the back of the head. Now you'll have your own experiences, but the sun planet or the sun energy sits in the heart chakra. So generally, you might start to feel a swelling there or something. Let them merge with you, because what that will do is they will allow your soul to work with that energy, and through your intention to assist yourself. That's all you need to do, and then what will happen is things will start to play out, and then your soul might bring up emotions. Use that technique that I shared before, or it might push you to go and do something. But just follow the internal guidance, okay? Because we all know, the mind can sort of sabotage us sometimes. So you need to be conscious of that as well. So I just want to read off the Gaia message, because I think this is what came through, and I've just got enough time to read that off. Okay, just a drop of water. Look, anyone, and if you're going into this field, everyone has the ability to communicate with any being. Even a rock, you can communicate with flowers, because everything has consciousness. Everything will talk back to you. And this is why a lot of shamans will talk to trees and stuff, because trees they hold our galactic history. So do animals. Animals hold all our history, and you can actually communicate, and you can get information just through them. I'm sorry, I meant to say on the alignment modality, we work a lot with the elements too. So We're working with all the main ones: fire, air, moon, water, earth, the planets. I'm working with carbon, hydrogen as well now. We're bringing all that through, so we teach you all that. It's amazing. It's all there. It's going to be a whole range of medicine, actually. We're creating. That's going to be coming out over the next 2 years, because these essence are very, very powerful, and we are now moving into the world of vibrational medicine. So everything will be done through vibration. So the more you can connect into the vibration of things, the quicker you're going to get your answers and start healing. Don't forget, there's nothing wrong with your physical body. It's your belief systems and your emotional energy that lets it down. So illness and disease is easily fixed if you get inquisitive and ask why that's happening. Go into the emotions, talk to the inner child, and that's how you start this process. Okay, I've got 5 minutes. So a message from Gaia. I want you all to pause for a second and remember me. Within your souls, we are one. You have very fond memories of me within your hearts and souls. In actual fact, we are connected in more ways than you can imagine. You actually have a contract with me that assists each other on our journey through the light, through this universe of experience. We share the same thread of consciousness as we journey forward into many realms of possibility. I want you to sync with my heartbeat, to extend your emotional body deep into the center of my body, and let me nourish you, hold you, embrace your vulnerability. You are all scared to find sanctuary in my arms because you have been led to believe that my body is disposable, that I am just rock with no feelings or emotions. Just like some human beings believe my animal kingdom have no feelings, and so the abuse towards them continues. It's now time to come back into the womb of your physicality. I want you all to imagine you are a tree with a strong trunk, with huge branches moving out in every direction. Then I want you to ask the spirits that live within the rock to ground you, to nourish your emotional bodies with the etheric nutrients, the pure life force of vitamins and minerals your body needs. By the way, they are severely inhibited with modern day farming. As they replenish the etheric body, I want you to imagine moving into a field full of whatever crops or flowers your imagination wishes to show you. And I want you to call forth the fae, the elemental energies, asking them to work with you as you sleep, but also as you walk in your day to day. Now the soul has long yearned to reconnect with this physical extension, with my inner realms, because you know deep down that deep down that this gives you peace, freedom, health, and happiness, which I must say is lacking in humanity greatly. This is a time of remembrance, a time of connection. You will notice the elementals in and around through your dreams, your imagination, on your walks through the country and parks, even your gardens at home. A flickering in the corner of your eye, a leaf on a tree flapping whilst the others are still. I am strong as you are. Furthermore, I can handle your emotional output. In fact, I assist you to feel in your human body, but you have lost all connection to the mother of your bodies. And I want you to start lying on the ground and feel me through your spines. Through this exercise, I will bring grounding so you can feel safe in this shift of consciousness, and the light coming on your planet can then safely enter your auric fields. I will clear the toxicity if your intention is to heal, the toxicity of your emotional and mental energy that weighs you down. The fatigue in your physical body needs an outlet, so feel the soles of your feet when you stand barefoot or within your imagination in meditation. See and feel the energy leave your body, entering through my surface, deep into my center. You are all worrying about me, but I assure you I have plenty of love and light around. I want you to focus on your own lives, your own health and well-being, and to start nourishing your bodies with healthy foods, blessed foods. Keep your bodies alkaline so life force can move through you with ease and grace. The alkalinity keeps the body clear, allowing information from the light to easily ground within you. If you are feeling insecure at this time, sit with the feeling and just imagine my love wrapping itself around you, and I will be there. Trust this simple process, and you'll start to remember me. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that onto my website. probably easier for everyone to access. I'll talk to Priscilla at the end and see how we can get that out, because obviously there's some exercises there. So I've only got a minute. So yeah, check out the website. Come and have a look at the workshops. You'll feel it straight away anyway. Watch there's a video slide, there's a short and long version explanation, there's a written explanation. I've catered for everyone's. Some people just like a little bit, some people want to read lots of it, so that's fine. Come on and check it under courses. I've got a day course and an evening course, both starting in November. And of course they'll be running throughout next year as well. But yeah, if you want to check it out, please do. I look forward to seeing some of you soon, hopefully. All the best and have a lovely rest of the weekend. Enjoy the rest of your talks. Thank you. Thanks, Suki.